So this weekend's mini summit between the leaders of North Korea and the U.S. was enough to gather media attention all across the globe. But now the real question is, will the summit actually be a meaningful step towards peace on the Korean peninsula? For an in-depth look at all this, we're now joined by Professor An Jun-seong of Yonsei University Graduate School of International Studies. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, so first and foremost, how did this spontaneous Kim-Trump summit come about, and what came out of the meeting in regards to denuclearization?
Yeah, actually, before we talk about denuclearization, I think we check the timing of the summit, right? Well, I'm not sure whether we can call it summit, but it's not really the formality. It's
yes.
just 45 minutes. But I think the issue is that President Trump made a political decision, a critical decision in the time of when he is checked, his campaign's calendar, and that 2020 U.S. presidential election is November 3rd, which gives him about 16 months, right? So he, checking the calendar was say I guess that he needed some booster at some foreign policy issues, and very interesting. I checked his tweet, right? Just before he made a DMZ handshake tweet. Just before that, he made another tweet. Actually, previous tweet saying that 54% is up. I checked the CNN. There's a new poll by CNN in that the 54% of Americans believes that he will win the election in 2020. And he made a comment on his tweet saying, well, it should be 75% because considering he's the greatest economy for U.S. history, right? So I looked it up, very interesting. The CNN also post the graphic on the same articles showing that the biggest threat to U.S. government is North Korea. It's 34%, which is the same percentage with Russia. So I guess he was thinking about in the Tokyo, thinking about Osaka, right? Was thinking about visit to Seoul, thinking about check his the poll 54%. Well, what can we do? It's a 70. Well, how can I make it 75? Maybe I should go make some. Some show,
with the American public thinking, with the majority of us saying that North Korea is still a threat, right?
Yes, and plus it's a big, international coverage because he was the first sitting U.S. president actually put on the U.S. soil,
or North Korean soil.
Sorry.
Right, it was a significant moment. So and they did get to meet and talk. It wasn't for so long, but they did talk about obviously denuclearization. So what came out in regards to that?
I think that the way I see it is a little different. From the Kim Jong-un perspective, assuming what he said was right, I mean, say he was surprised to hear his proposal. Well, assuming he's right and he's correct, then that I don't think North Korea is prepared for the meeting because you got less than 24-hour notice, right? I don't think even because that we know that from the news is that after the Hanoi summit was turned out to failure, they have a restructuring about the foreign policy structure. Division, right? So from the U.S. perspective, the practical perspective, they have to find out whom to talk to first, right? So I guess that one of the practical things they got it from that, the DMZ summit, where basically they know whom to talk to at least now, and then give some credit, some push to the North Korean new personnel to speed up the process, I guess.
Right. So I mean, it's good news that the two sides decided to restart their denuclearization negotiations, but at this point, there's still a big gap there when it comes to that term denuclearization. When it comes to the U.S. and North Korea. So how do you think they'll be able to close that gap?
Yes, that's the question I asked myself, right? From Trump's perspective, I do not think that Trump expected, to narrow the gap for the 45-minute, very short time, summit, right? So I think that he needed a booster in the, election. He's a, domestic, the U.S. election 2020, and plus he was successful. The DMZ handshake was successful by international media coverage. So he was going back to U.S., right? So I guess the things that whatever happened is that it's more important is what is coming soon, right? And one of the questions is whether the Kim Jong-un would visit White House, right? There was huge coverage. So I guess he's hoping, dramatic, negotiation and Kim Jong-un came to White House, West Wing, shaking hands. That would be the history shaking hand, right?
Right, but Trump was quite firm when it came to questions on sanctions that, yes, negotiations will restart, it'll go on, but sanctions will remain in place for now. So he's been quite firm on that stance. So what can we make of that?
Well, I guess he's kind of very typical approach. He's a hard player, so he play hard from the beginning. So, but if frankly, if we do not believe on any modification of his position, who wouldn't speak up, right? Because he was he want to be a strong player.
Right.
But my impression is very interesting. When I observed his face when he in the Panmunjom, it looked different, right?
Yeah.
But one at the even Hanoi or other place, right? He seems really very. Well, I say serious, a little bit concerned about whatever happened because he know he made something big leap. He principally from US. He according to the press, he didn't have the blueproof, whatever, cover protection. So he violated, many US, regulation and because that, the protection for the president and a lot of things. So so he had to made something big, to cover everything. He did it, right?
Right. Now, in your opinion, though, I mean, is North Korea really serious about denuclearization, or do you think it's trying to buy some time to get itself recognized as joining a club of nuclear powers? Actually,
it's a good question. I was thinking myself too, but for the DMZ summit, I don't think that Kim Jong was prepared to do anything. So he's shaking hands and talking about what to do, basically what to do from now on, right? And then I think personally, I think that North Korea is serious about the denuclearization. The problem is that same issue from the Hanoi summit is that it's degree, how far they agree that's the issue, and how close they can close the gap between the two countries.
Right. Now, President Moon Jae-in was not able to join in the meeting, and this Panmunjom encounter ended up being a bilateral summit between Kim Jong-un and Mr. Trump. So what can we make of this?
I think that's as original. I mean, even if you check his tweet, he say he's going to Seoul with President Moon, and hopefully if Kim Jong-un checked this message, when I say just say hello, right? Say hello, right? So that's what happened. And plus, I think that's good for the President Moon Jae-in also because that although there was a bilateral meeting, he had a international coverage, three-party basically. So and even I mean. Think about it, in the absence of South Korean government president, I don't think it's happened, right? There's something that they know that under the table, and South Korea was work very hard to get to make it very 24 hour, less than 24 hour minute, right? That's a lot of work and logistics, right? So they got credit, that's what they were.
I mean, it definitely all happened very quickly, but we'll have to keep our eyes on how this resumed negotiations between the U.S. and North Korea goes on from here on out. But thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.